Mutants, also known as Homo superior, are an offshoot of humans possessing the mutant X gene, which activates during puberty, giving those who possess the gene latent powers. There are several mutants, and only a few among them hold vast power. In this video, we shall break down some of the strongest female mutants in Marvel Comics, their origins and powers. So, without wasting any time, let's dive into the video. Rogue. Anna Marie, also known as Rogue, has the uncontrollable ability of absorbing the energy of others through physical contact, temporarily incorporating their abilities, powers, memories and even personality with a touch, a process which wears her victims out. A runaway, Rogue was found and adopted by mutant terrorists Mystique and Destiny. She had her abilities traumatically activated when she shared her first kiss with a boy and put him into a coma. When she was serving in the Brotherhood of Mutants, she absorbed Captain Marvel's powers, along with her psyche, which made a long-lasting change in her, leading her to seek help from Charles Xavier of the X-Men. As a member of the X-Men, she proved her might and loyalty, becoming one of its notable members. Even though power absorption is as op as it sounds, Rogue could only use her powers through physical contact, hence her position in the final place. Polaris. Dr. Lorna Dane is the daughter of Magneto, inheriting her father's mutant abilities of magnetism, adopting the name Polaris. She has explored very diverse paths concerning her stance on mutant affairs. Manipulated by the villain Mesmero, Dane was rescued by the X-Men and ultimately joined their ranks. However, she soon decided to abandon the eccentric life of a mutant superhero in order to pursue an education in geophysics. Contrary to her wishes though, Polaris was constantly dragged back to mutant crises for being a victim of many ill-intended actors, such as Eric the Red, the Marauders, Zolodane, Apocalypse, and even her father Magneto. This has naturally led her to be a relevant player in the mutant community, especially by being a prominent agent for the many iterations of X-Factor and for her familial relationship to Magneto. Polaris is an alpha-level mutant possessing the ability to manipulate magnetism. Although she has the potential to exercise all of the powers that Magneto has, as yet she has only used powers involving the manipulation of magnetic, electrical, and gravitational fields. Emma Frost. Emma Frost is a powerful and influential mutant telepath, most notoriously known as the White Queen of the Hellfire Club and occasional headmistress of the Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. Born to a rich Boston mercantile family, she parted ways with her family and built a financial empire with Frost International, ascending to a ruling position in the inner circle of the Hellfire Club. Demonstrating a particular interest in education, Frost ran the Massachusetts Academy, a preparatory school that secretly housed young mutants trained for her own interests, the Hellions. Emma Frost is a Sentinel classified Omega-level threat who possesses vast telepathic abilities of a similar caliber to those belonging to Charles Xavier, over which she has an extremely refined level of skill. Frost has been cited as a world-class telepath and Omega-class telepath. She has mind-controlled a building full of people for over 40 floors of a skyscraper at once casually, and has been shown to communicate telepathically and link the minds of the Hellfire Gala's guests from Earth to the planet Araco without any strain. Cassandra Nova. Cassandra Nova Xavier is what the Shi'ar call Mumudrai, the spirit that is the equal and opposite of a person. She ended up being born as Professor Charles Xavier's sister. This was due to the amazing genetic potential of Charles. His Mumudrai was able to create a physical form, effectively a twin. While gestating in her mother Sharon Xavier's womb, Cassandra was recognized by Charles as an evil presence, and he preemptively tried to kill her with his nascent psychic abilities. Cassandra was barely able to defend herself, and the shock of the roiling battle caused Sharon to have a miscarriage. Though the doctors pronounced her stillborn, Cassandra in fact survived and spent the next decades as a growing mass of cells in a sewer wall, building a new body for herself and planning her revenge on her brother. Cassandra is an Omega-level mutant with the ability to manipulate and alter genetic material. She also possesses telepathy and telekinesis. Selene Gallio. Selene was born 17,000 years ago in Central Europe, after the ocean swallowed Atlantis and before the rise of the sons of Arias. Selene's mother was young when she bore her, but would be dead before Selene spoke her first words. The tribal elders ordered her mother's people to sacrifice themselves to Selene until none remained. They thus gave her sustenance in her name. During the period of the Roman Empire, she attempted to sacrifice the citizens of Rome in order to gain godlike powers. She recruited Eliphas, a Roman senator, who would later betray her, nearly leading to the execution of both. Selene, however, would kill her executioners and Eliphas. During the 12th century, she would disguise herself as a nun and would join Burke, Apocalypse, Cruel and Nicodemus in order to establish the externals. During modern era, she would have worshippers as the Black Priestess in the city of Nova Roma. Later, she would join Sebastian Shaw's Hellfire Club. Celine's primary power is to absorb the life forces of others to sustain and enhance herself, and also possesses telepathy, telekinesis, pyrokinesis and immortality. She is also a sorceress. Rachel Summers. Rachel Summers is the daughter of the mutant heroes Cyclops and Jean Grey from a dystopian alternative future. Having inherited her mother's psychic abilities, she has high-level telepathic and telekinetic abilities. Thanks to the power of the Phoenix, Rachel was brought to the past, where she has been granted a second chance in life alongside the X-Men. Despite initially having problems to adapt to a different version of the world she knew, Rachel was eventually integrated into the X-Men, who she regards as family. Sharing an intimate connection with the Phoenix, Rachel has become a powerful player in the mutant crisis dealt by the X-Men. Rachel Summers is a powerful mutant psychic and Phoenix host, having inherited virtually limitless telepathy and telekinesis abilities from her mother as well as an intricate relationship with the Phoenix Force. Storm. Aurora Munro is a powerful mutant with the ability to control the weather, being usually known as the Magnificent Windrider Storm. Having been orphaned after a plane crashed on and destroyed her home, the young Aurora became a sneak thief on the streets of Cairo. As a teenager, she traveled through Africa, eventually reaching the Serengeti Plains, where she was venerated by the locals as a goddess for using her abilities to ease the droughts in the arid desert. Eventually approached by Professor Xavier, Aurora was baptized Storm to join his X-Men. Storm is an Omega-level mutant with the ability to control all forms and facets of the weather and atmosphere. Aurora is considered to be one of the most powerful mutants in the universe. Her inherent raw power and potential has been stated to be nigh infinite, or even incalculable. Madeline Pryor. Madeline Pryor is a mutant clone of Jean Grey created by Mr. Sinister, and her existence was orchestrated to fulfill a grand scheme to birth a living weapon to destroy Apocalypse. Born out of manipulation and experimentation, her path intertwined with that of Cyclops. Their whirlwind romance led to marriage and the birth of their son Nathan Summers, also known as Cable. However, the strains of Scott's lingering attachment to Jean Grey, coupled with Madeline's own sense of abandonment, led to a heartbreaking unraveling of their family. Abandoned and betrayed, Madeline's journey took a dark turn as she grappled with her identity and sought vengeance against those who wronged her. Embracing her newfound powers as the Goblin Queen, she waged war against the X-Men and X-Factor, unleashing chaos and confronting her own inner demons. She joined various iterations of the all-female team called the Sisterhood of Mutants. Since Madeline was cloned from Jean Grey's DNA, she was essentially another version of Jean, possessing Jean's telekinetic and telepathic abilities, although they manifested far later. It is unclear whether she inherited her template's full Omega-level potential, although Sinister's use of her clones as a means of containing the Phoenix Force suggests that she was of a similar caliber. Hope Summers. Hope was the first mutant born after M-Day. She had no real father, as her mother Louise Spaulding was impregnated through the Phoenix. Believed to be the salvation of Mutantkind, the mutant messiah, she was raised and trained by her adoptive father Cable in the far future, until she was ready to return to the present day. Shortly after her own powers manifested, Hope activated 5 new mutants, and later on, as White Phoenix, she reversed the effects of M-Day, allowing new mutants to be born once again. Hope's primary power allows her to copy the powers of any nearby mutant. Unlike other mutants with similar abilities, such as Rogue, Hope does not need to make physical contact and the person whose powers are copied suffers no ill effects. Hope seems to be subconsciously aware of any power she copies and is able to utilize it immediately, without any need to learn how to use them or even to see them in action first. The powers she copies are at their full capacity and she has full control over them. Hope does not have any known limit on how many powers she can copy at the same time, but wielding multiple powers simultaneously is taxing on her. However, she can replicate only the powers of mutants. Jean Grey. Jean Grey is an Omega-level mutant with immense empathic, telepathic and telekinetic abilities, being intimately associated with the Phoenix. Her psychic powers were prematurely triggered during childhood when she witnessed her best friend's death, and the traumatic experience caused her to emotionally and socially withdraw to cope. For years, Jean was mentored by Professor Charles Xavier. When he started a school for mutants to prepare his students to carry on his dream of peaceful coexistence between mutants and humans, Jean enrolled as Marvel Girl, becoming the last of his first class of X-Men. Over time, Jean has become Xavier's most trusted pupils, constantly acting as his right hand and close friend. Jean Grey is an Omega-level telepath, as well as an Omega-level telekinetic. She is the most notable, powerful and skilled telepath in the entire Marvel Universe and is among the most powerful Scions, described as the most powerful person in the universe endowed with limitless potential. She is also one with the Phoenix Force. As an avatar of the Phoenix, she even has control over reality itself. That's it guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and if you're new to this channel, leave a subscribe too. Thank you for watching, see you in next video.